First of all, I know that you are affiliated with the Maravilla organization situation. In my personal experience as an LA native and learning the culture of my culture, your culture, how we coexist, how we clashed. When I was young running through the county jail, there was a name of a certain group of people that had a reputation that I really admired based on the fact they were of the Latino culture and they was banged out, but the understanding of the cohesiveness that was kind of like we knew of the Treses, they wasn't, for some reason, I don't want to get too deep in details because I know how y'all push y'all shit, but I remember they didn't really like fit into the overall picture by choice, and they had to deal with stiff consequences and they stood down. And this is what I knew about the Maravillas when I was in the county jail, and I don't want to put too much more in it from my perspective. I want you to only speak from it as much as you're comfortable with. But I first want to salute you for being amongst that them ranks, and if as much as you're willing to share, can you kind of expound on that situation? Because I remember when I was a teenager going through the county jail, I don't care if it was like 1 or 2 Maravillas in a unit and they was outnumbered by the opposition. They never turned it down, no matter what. I don't know if I'm pretty sure somebody somewhere may have, not saying, but I've never been aware of somebody turning it down, and it was a lot of pressure. And I don't know a group on any side that was that small that I've known of that stood up against that much opposition. And so if you're willing to speak on that, I'll be appreciated.
Yeah. Well, first off, I mean, I'm not gonna get all deep into all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But our neighborhood, we're majority a generational neighborhood. We come from my grandfather, my dad, a lot of homies, their dads, their uncles. Like our families are all like intertwined in our neighborhood and stuff like that. So we come from like more of a family mindset. You know what I mean? Even though like when you're from another neighborhood or whatever, you might get in and you have homies and shit, but it's another thing when you're backing up a family member. And that's how we see each other, you know what I mean? So you got one homeboy, somebody going at it with him or whatever, that's your family right there. You can't back down.
Right.
And then if you do back down, one thing with us is you're gonna get got by us, homie. You know what I mean? Or my people are gonna get me if I fuck up somehow. You know what I mean? So you gotta stand your ground, bro. And I mean, if it comes to the point where you're going against the grain, then hey, fuck it.
Were you incarcerated back in those days at any period of time?
Yeah, I was in juvenile hall in the 90s.
Did it trickle down to the juvenile hall, that same politic?
You know what? Yeah, it kind of did. Not as far as knowing the politics shit of it, but as far as going at it with the opposition, hell yeah. Every fucking neighborhood was your enemy. And it was on site.
That's what it do, man. Mm-hmm. You was born and raised in Southern California.
Yeah, born and raised.
I see it's kind of common, tattoos, face tattoos. A lot of times people have face tattoos and they're not really identifiable what they represent. Yours represent exactly where you're from. Mm-hmm. Have you living out here locally, does that cause like an issue for you, or does people seemingly just like overlook it?
No, I've seen that everybody's has a staring at you. You know what I mean? But I mean, it got tiresome. When I was younger, people just, man, where you from, or where you stay at? Like, motherfucker, you see that shit on my forehead, and you're gonna see it in the back of my head. Right. And that's just what it was. It was my young mentality back then. I don't have the same mentality now. I mean, I have it on me. It's not coming off, but it's just like, fuck it. It is what it is, homie. Like, I'm not gonna keep saying this shit. Is you see it, there's no need. And people like I've gotten into shit like a couple of years ago or whatever. Where they still feel the need to hit you up just to see if you're gonna say the shit. Right. Like, what makes you think that I'm not gonna say my shit?
Especially when I'm presented in this certain fashion. Yeah. I run across that too. You could imagine me being slightly known in my environments. I run into this often. Aggressive. Hey, where you from, homie? Mm-hmm. Then I'm like, oh, whoop whoop, and then it's like, oh, ain't you so and so? Mm-hmm. It's like, cuz you knew that before you like got at me, but you wanted to show it in front of your homies and then break it down so you knew it wasn't. But I could imagine, especially now that you run across that. How about this? I've known you from on the internet, and in the last few months, are you running into people in public who, not the gang life, but recognize you from your presence on the internet?
Oh hell yeah, every day, bro. Just go to the mall, go to the fucking swap meets, the supermarket. And it's cool. It's all love.
When the last time I was with you, you had your daughter with you. Have you ever got a chance to experience that while you out with your child?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, all the time, homie. And it's cool. They show my kids love. You know, it's good. You know, it's cool, bro. But the other
make
thing,
you feel like you've accomplished something when you with your daughter and people come out and they see you something. Do you feel a sense of honor, pride?
I feel a sense of honor and pride when it comes to what I'm talking about. You know, when it comes to culture or you know, bringing knowledge about certain laws.
I want y'all to know, I was gonna get him there. He's rushing to get to the meat and the potatoes. The dude way heavier than he looked. I was starting off with the shallow. Go ahead, break your bread.
But it becomes a very a humble experience when people get at you and they're like, I like the message you got.